Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, I did promise each and every single one of you that I will upload a guide for every single Carina's challenge. And I have gotten through 4 so far. So that leaves me with 5. Unfortunately, I had gotten myself slightly sidetracked over the course of last few days. It may or may not have something to do with 145 million Shang-Chi 6-star arena grind. I'm still knackered from that, but I need to get back on track because I want to get these done before 7.2 drops. That means today we're going to be talking about Super Punch Out, the Kamala Khan challenge, where you can use a 5 or a 6-star Kamala Khan. And in order to review that, we're going to be going over through some footage from my own stream. And I'm not going to lie, the champion boss did take my number a handful of times, and I definitely 100% without shadow of a doubt could have and should have done that fight better if I had prepared even slightly for it. I had taken myself in a mindset of a berserker possessed beast, and I just wanted to blitz all of them out. So I did die more than I should have. And let's answer the first questions that they always get asked. Should you run Suicide Masteries for this? No, absolutely not, because Kamala Khan's playstyle revolves around spamming level 1s, and you're gonna have your chance to use items regardless, and you don't want to make any more than you have to. Boosts, yes. Suicides, no. Ideally, you also want to max out the Fury Masteries that extend the Fury duration. Increasing the Fury potency is helpful for damage, but it's not an absolute must. But having those Fury buffs last longer is definitely helpful. Right, getting to the champion, it's not too bad, to be honest. The only fight that you should kind of be worried about, and you should know what you're doing, really is the Magik one. And that was one of the couple revives that I used on my way here. It really wasn't too bad getting here. So first fight I did mess up. I did 30 something hits and I was playing wrong. Second fight, however, somebody in my chat gave me a very worthwhile and valuable advice how to go up against this Magik, and that is to basically play purely with heavy attacks, which is what we are about to see here, and it works very, very well. And I had maxed out my Pacify Mastery as well. That means so long as the opponent is stunned, they have minus 30% ability accuracies, so they have less of a chance to trigger their abilities. In Magik's case, Limbo, which is the most important thing. And the entire fight literally consists of just parry, heavy playstyle, drop a level 1 here and there, and that is it. That's the only thing that you want to do. You want to charge up your heavy attacks as well, so you gain those Fury buffs whenever you can, whenever you do have the time. And we can see that like that, I actually got a fairly decent run in here, and I do think I finished the 70% with a single revive. So again, it's not perfect, obviously, and probably could have played it better, but thanks to the heavy attacks and the fact that you have Furies up all the time and you do minimal amount of hits, you can actually get through it fairly reasonably, and Kamala can punch okay if you're fully boosted. Another thing that I want to talk about is rank 4 or rank 5 Kamala, because I have definitely seen it done with rank 4 5-star Kamala Khan. Now, on a personal note, I don't advise it. I think you need to be very, very skilled or be ready to use a lot of items if you want to get it done with the rank 4. I think that the total sum of rewards for doing all of these challenges more than offset the idea of taking Kamala Khan to rank 5. Now, will I use my Kamala Khan for a ton of stuff? Probably not unless she gets some sort of buff. But at the same time, it's still a new champion. It's still a 5-star you can use in arena or whatever. It's never a bad thing to have an extra champion ranked, even if it's not exactly the one you have wanted. From my perspective, I didn't think too much about it. I just went ahead and I ranked it because I didn't want to make life harder for me than it was. And here we can see that that entire 70% of her health is down. I only took half my health bar as damage, so I could have soloed that fight for sure. Right, let's get back to the champion boss here at this point, and this is going to be one of my healthier runs, one of my better runs. Now, I do make mistakes here as well, or this might not have been it, maybe the next one. Right, as I said, I did not do this perfectly. The key to this fight, for most part, is just to be aware of his unstoppable cycle. Ideally, keep his persistent charges as low as possible, and you do that by nullifying his unstoppables, nullifying his furies, and that is very important because the more persistent charges he has, the more furies he procs. The more furies he procs, the quicker you're dead, basically, is what I'm saying. Every time you nullify them, we can see that he had 6 persistent charges, and now we have gotten him down to like 4 or 3, which is perfect. Other than that, what is the main advice? My most success in these fights were with dashback intercepts. Let me avoid parry damage, it let me play quite aggressively. Champion in himself is a very, very, very aggressive character, and he always pretty much responded to my dashback intercepts, and we can see that he is very heavy friendly, so baiting out heavy attacks was a quite successful strategy for me. And the other key aspect was these dashback intercepts whenever he was under a bar of power. Now here I did kind of take a risky play again, and by no means my runs were perfect. They definitely can be done a lot better. I'm sure you know the names of the YouTubers that you should be checking if you want a flawless Kamala gameplay. But I was kind of learning as I went along here, and overall I got it done. Not too upset about the revives that I used, and the main thing is just getting it in there. Again, my key to success, kind of like the most successful runs here, were quite simply very aggressive play with dashback intercepts, charge up heavy attacks as and when I can throughout his special attack animations, but if you do not feel comfortable doing that, that is okay, you don't have to do that. And then just try your best to nullify all of his furies and all of his unstoppables with your level 1s, because... Okay, so I got wrecked here quickly. Because that kind of keeps his total amount of furies down, and then he doesn't hit as hard. You can rely on your parry quite a bit more, and I must say that this fight right now is significantly easier than it initially was, because previously a handful of parries would have killed you. Now it's not quite the case anymore. And when it comes to the final section, it honestly wasn't as bad as I remember, especially because now you only need to get 3 prowesses. We can take a look at this fight in its entirety. I think I used still 1 or 2 more revives because, again, maybe a bit stressed, wasn't practiced, didn't practice beforehand, which you should do. Just take your 3-star Kamala Khans, go practice champion fight, memorize the spacing, realize when you can't charge your heavy attacks and things like that. Other than that, you're doing quite a-okay here. So he's at last like 11%. So finally I pushed him down. I think I'm gonna butcher this attempt, and then we can go in the next one. Here we go. I think this is the finishing try from my stream. But again, once you have reached the 10%, the fight's actually fairly straightforward. You don't have too much to worry about. Just obviously keep an eye on that unstoppable. Get your prowesses in. Use your special attack to nullify his unstoppables. And don't let him build up too many persistent charges so he doesn't get too many parries, so you don't take too much block damage. It's extremely important in this phase to make sure that he doesn't have too many persistent charges. So I have gotten 2 in, but here I butchered it down. I have 3%, which I don't remember if I get this in. I actually don't. It's interesting. Probably not, but it would be interesting to see. Ah, no, I messed up. I just took a hit. So this was where I butchered it with 2. Let's go in for the last try, hopefully. How bad can I play, right? Now, it's actually quite dreadful looking back at myself, seeing this. I'm like, Jesus, that was an ass whooping and a half. But it was fun. Overall, I do think this challenge was quite fun. And yeah, the last bit, I think, is the easiest portion of it. Once you get to 10%, it's not too bad. And yeah, so I have 2 of the prowess charges in here. I could have just waited here, but I just parry him just in order to get that single hit in, so I can get quicker to my special one, which I should not have used here. That was a mistake, 100% that was a mistake. I should not have done that. I should have waited. But I have my third prowess charge. He's not indestructible anymore. And I just need to drop that level 1 and the fight is going to be over. Yes, there we go. That is it. So that is kind of some of my advices. When it comes to Magik fight, on your way here, which is the only critical fight, I think parry heavy is your go-to, and you can solo that fight if you just parry heavy. Then when it comes to champion fight, 4 hits, dash back intercepts, for me was the best key to success. Not having like intimate knowledge of this fight and not having practiced much for it. Try to always keep yourself close to or past a bar of power in order to be able to nullify champions' unstoppables. Remember that his medium and light hits can be unblockable depending on which phase he's in. In his second phase, his mediums are unblockable. In his third phase, his lights are unblockable. And also, I believe in his second phase, you do not want to touch him whilst he's unblockable with your heavy or basic attacks, unless you are using your special attack and you know that you will nullify that unstoppable, I think. And that is about it, as much as advice as I can give you guys, and I hope it works out, and I hope you guys do a great job. See ya! Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information